Well, hey there. Let's solve some quadratic equations by factoring, and on this sheet we will do number 1 through 9. And I'm not going to do this row. It's practice that we don't necessarily have to have. And then we will do 13 through 24. So in order to give you a push in the right direction, I'm going to do some of the ones that are not expected of you, but I'm going to just pick a handful, and I'm actually just going to start with number 25. Actually, I lied. Let's not start with 25. I'm going to skip around a little bit. This might drive you crazy, but I'm going to start with 37. And again, it's not required, but it's one of the ones that will help you know what to do on the ones that are required of you. So here goes 37. We are going to find out what x is, and actually I said the wrong thing. I want to find out what my x's are, because I have x squared here. Need a little more light here, so I'm going to move my lamp closer. There we go. That should help a little bit. What we're going to do is find out what my x's are, because I have an x squared. So here's 37, and x squared minus 8x plus 7 equals 0. You've seen this before. And what I want to do is solve it for x. Well, if you're going to solve it by factoring, you need to have everything on one side have it equal to 0. And this that I'm about to write does not apply here, but I'll look for a greatest common factor first, and then I will factor my trinomial. Tri means 3. So I do not have a greatest common factor. I'll do one in a minute that does. But now I will shift gears and do this, and this is going to be one of those things that you've seen before. So two things multiply to give me x squared must be x times x. Two things multiply to give me 7 must be 7 times 1. If I was to FOIL this, multiply it out, first outside, inside, last, then I would have x squared, sure enough, 1x and 7x. And I would get a negative 8 out of that. So these better be negative. And then I'd multiply those and get a positive 7. So final answers, plural, is this and this. We'll solve them both. So x equals 7 and x equals 1. Okay, so that was fantastic. That was number 37. Let's pick another one. And I'm going to go over to 38, actually. Let's do 38. So we have x squared minus 16 equals 0, and I'm going to solve it. Now, I'm looking for a greatest common factor, and I don't see one, so not going to do that. But I will factor my trinomial, and you've seen one like this before, I'm sure. Technically, this is what I have. So there's my trinomial, and we will factor. So x, and then 16 is 2 and 8, 1 and 16, 4 and 4, and I need to multiply these to get a negative 16, so my signs must be different. One of them is positive, one of them is negative. And that works out very well, because if I was to FOIL this out, x squared minus 4x plus 4x would cancel, minus 16. There we go. And then I will set each factor equal to 0 and solve. X is negative 4, x is positive 4. Those are my answers. Okay, I'm going to pick a couple other ones and go through those. Let's do number 54. It's kind of a weird one. 54. 6x squared equals 12x. Okay, before you can solve it, you need to have it equal to 0. So let's get everything on one side. I'm going to keep the big term, and I say big, I'm looking at the exponent when I say that. I'm going to keep the highest exponent with a positive coefficient. It's much easier, so don't go moving this one to the left. Move this one, I said that wrong. Don't move this one to the right. Let's move this one to the left. So 6x squared minus 12x equals 0. And then, hey, let's go back to this. Greatest common factor. Going to find it. Hey, look. Both of these terms are divisible by 6, and they both have an x. So we do that. And we don't have to do the two sets of parentheses. We just have one. So then we have x minus 2, because we're dividing out 6x from 12x. And so 6x equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. We divide by 6, and we get 0. We add 2, and we get 2. So I have two answers, and there they are. Alrighty. I am going to start picking some crazy ones like 47. I'm going to do 2 or 3 of these. And this should give you a push in the right direction on some of the other ones. 3x squared plus 4 equals 8x. Okay. 3x squared plus 4 equals 8x, and I would like to be able to solve it. I'm going to solve a quadratic, or any polynomial with a degree higher than 1. Then I need to get everything on one side. So basically, this 8x right here, he needs to come over. I'm going to put him in the middle. So I have my exponents in decreasing order. So 3x squared minus 8x plus 4 equals 0. Okay, so we'll do that, we'll do that. It's going to be equal to 0. By the way, here's what went through my head. I don't have a greatest common factor. I wish I did, but I don't. Oh well. So I am going to do something where I switch to pencil. 3x squared is 3x times x. And I'm switching to pencil because I might have to erase. I'm going to probably do some of this wrong. I'm going to actually do it wrong on purpose to prove a point, because sometimes you have to do trial and error. So here's the deal. I want to be able to FOIL this, whatever I get, and get that. Kind of check it. You can do it in your head. I'm going to do 1 times 4. So I'm picking two numbers that multiply to give me 4. The signs have to be alike because they multiply to give you a positive. I need a negative out of this deal in the middle, so we'll do that. Now this is wrong, and I'm going to show you why. Don't write it if you don't want to. But a lot of this is trial and error. If I multiplied these, I'd get 3x squared. Okay? If I multiply those, I get negative 12x. And if I multiply those, I get negative 1x. And that would not give me the negative 8 in the middle that I want. Negative 1 minus 12 is not negative 8. Now, multiplying those does give me 4, but the middle term is all messed up. So this isn't going to work. I'm going to erase these. Perhaps I had them in the wrong order, so switch them. I'll go ahead and tell you, this is not it either. Because if I multiply these, I get negative 3x. When I multiply these, I get negative 4x. I'm not going to get a negative 8 out of that. So let's try something else. If you already know what it is, jump straight to it, but sometimes it does take some experimenting. 2 and 2. 3 and 2 multiplies to give me 6. That multiplies to give me 2. Negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. There we go. We have found it. We know it works, so now we're going to solve it. So 3x minus 2 equals 0, and x minus 2 equals 0. And so we will add 2 to both sides here, cancel those, and we have 3x equals 2. We'll divide by 3. Don't be afraid of a fraction. Never killed anybody. 2/3 here, and positive 2 there. There they are. I'm going to do 1, maybe 2 more. We'll see how the mood hits me. Let's do number, I'm going to find a good one. I'm looking for a good one. 42 is a good one. Let's do number 42. 6x squared plus 2 equals 7x. Oh my goodness, I need to factor it. So let's move the 7x over, put it in the middle. Exponents are in descending order. I haven't filmed any of this. I'm so tired. I don't know if you just heard my outburst, but I looked down on the screen on my iPad and I didn't see the counter going, and I thought I was not filming it. And I was so frustrated, and I threw my pen down. I was like, I'm not even filming anything, and I'm so tired. I don't know if you heard that. Anyway, I apologize for that, but I'm not starting over just because of one outburst. There you go. That wasn't a very loud outburst, was it? I thought I wasn't filming. I was really frustrated, like, I've been talking this whole time. Okay, back on topic. Sorry you had to hear that. It's like 10:45 right now while I'm recording this at night. Way past my bedtime. Anyway, let's keep going. I want to find two numbers that multiply to give me 6x squared. You know, I should have looked closer at the little counter before I had my outburst. 6x squared, I'm going to just pick some random stuff. 6x times 1x. It might be 2 and 3. I don't know. We'll find out. And then 2 is 1 times 2. This is probably wrong. And two numbers multiply to give me 2. They're same sign, both negative. It was one of those moments where I thought, man, I'm a grown man, but I might cry over this one. This is film this whole thing again. Anyway, I don't have to film it again. Let's keep going. I have something here that actually doesn't work. We have 6x squared minus 12x minus 1. Minus 12 minus 1. Negative 12 minus 1 is not negative 7. Multiply those gives you a positive 2. Okay. So, let's try something else. We'll change my 6 around. Let's make that a 3. I'm going to go ahead and go straight to the answer. Let's make that a 3 and that a 2. This is correct. Here's why. Negative 4x minus 3x gives me negative 7x. So, 2x minus 1 equals 0. 3x minus 2 equals 0. And we'll solve them both. We'll add 1 to both sides on this one. Divide by 2 and we get a half. We'll add 2 to both sides on this one. Divide by 3. Whoops. There we go. Redo that right there. That's it. I do feel the need to do one more now that I don't have to start over because I wasn't looking in the right place when I was looking at the screen. I would like to do number 53, and it's a crazy one. I just bumped into the camera. 53. Sorry about that. Bumping into the camera, having outbursts. Next thing you know, I'm going to start throwing things. All right. I want to get everything on one side for x squared minus 1 equals 0. There is not a greatest common factor. I wish there was, but there is not. Some of these have them, some of them don't. But this one does not. So what we'll do instead is just start breaking it apart. This actually is a lot like number 38 that we just did. There's that right there. Notice this is what we would call the difference, subtract, of two squares. Both of these are perfect squares. 4x squared is 2x and 2x. 1 is, well, 1 times 1 is positive and negative. And this makes sense because if we were to FOIL it, we'd have negative 2x plus 2x. Negative 2 plus 2 gives me 0, and I don't have a middle term. All right. 2x plus 1 equals 0. 2x minus 1 equals 0. So 2x is negative 1. X is negative 1/2. The other one ends up being x is positive 1/2. Those are my answers. There we go. The video is done. I don't have to record it again. It did work the first time. Enjoy.